where I talk about mental health and spiritual health. I believe that they're one and the same. And that's why I like to talk about the Bible here in the morning at sunrise. I'm a little early, so I'm not going to start yet. So you might want to... Annie, what you doing? Look at this. It's cold. It's March 2nd here in Columbus, Ohio. But cold means clear skies. And it is, oh, there goes a hawk. And it is freezing. It's 19 degrees. Thankfully, there's no wind. Oh, look who's out there. Look who's out there in the pasture for us. Moo. Got the cows out here. Awesome. Oh my gosh, Dolly, what are you doing? You're not awake. You're not on the West Coast. Come on, give me a break. Speak the truth. Speak the truth here on this podcast or whatever you call it. Oh, your power was out. Holy cows. Yeah. I came on early because it's just, it's pretty out here. Again, you know, you got the frost on the ground and the sunrise. The creek, I'll show you the creek. The creek's frozen again. Man, Frank and I went to that hockey game, that NHL game last night. Detroit Red Wings at the Columbus Blue Jackets at the Ohio Stadium. 94,751 people were in attendance. Yeah, it went good. Look at that, frozen creek again. 94,751 people. It was awesome. They had microphones down on the rink so you can hear the skating and them hitting the boards and hitting the puck with their stick. You know, it felt like you were kind of like real close. It felt like you were really close to the rink. So it was fun. It was just cold. So we left like in the middle of the third period because they had an extended first period so the 21 pilots could play. So it was a long night. And then it said 6 o'clock, but the puck didn't drop till 6:35. So we were there, you know, 5:30 or something. So, I mean, I think we left around a little before 9, before the game ended. But I mean, we were there outside for a long time, and it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. Yeah, the Blue Jackets won 5-3. I think we left and it was 3-2. That's how much more scoring happened when we left. Of course, the last goal was an open goal, but each team scored one more goal, like in, you know, when we left. Hey, Frank. Frank, it's cold out here, but it's not windy, so it's not bad. I came on early only because the sun has risen and it's really pretty out here. And I wanted to get out here early for this girl. Look at her. Holy crap. She is flying this morning. That's why. She needs some exercise. I didn't take her to the dog park the last 2 days because, I was at Frank's car wash. But I was just telling Dolly about our night and how we left in the middle of the third period because it was just so cold. Our toes were frozen. I had 2 pair of socks on, a thin, like wool pair, and then a thick wool pair over it. And I was still... Hi, Annie. She's going nuts so down here. I don't know. Oh, did the car wash look the best ever? Oh, good. Good. I wonder why he said that. I mean, we did clean it up Friday. We cleaned up all the mud and swept up the grounds, you know. And then we kind of cleaned all the vacuum islands off too once we cleaned the vacuums. Yeah, I guess it looks pretty good. We get new signs up, it's going to look nice. It's going to look perfect. Right, Annie? What are you eating there? Here, look out, look out. Let me see. No, no. I don't know what the heck. This is like a deer path. I just found this path here along the creek, and it's obvious that people don't really walk here. It's a really thin path. But obviously deer must be on here. Yeah, the concert was good too. They played like a medley of songs. They played for about 15 minutes in the first intermission between the first and second period. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And it was just a neat atmosphere. And I was just thinking about from the players' perspective too. They play inside all the time, right? Whoa. They play inside in front of 20,000 people wherever they go at a certain kind of warmish temperature, right? It's just the ice is cold, but the temperature inside the building's warm. So even for them to go play outside when it's like 26 degrees and windy and almost 100,000 people, and you look up and there's the sky, you know, I was trying to explain it to Frank how weird it must be for the players. Like if I ever played in that environment, because I played basketball players play in the same kind of arena as hockey players, right? It's inside, 20,000 people, certain temperature, inside an arena, smallish arena. And then you go to something 5 times the size, outside, cold, wind blowing, tons of people. You look up and see the sky. I mean, it had to be bizarre for the players too. Like it was surreal to see a hockey rink down where the Ohio State football field usually is. It was just really cool. Oh, that's good of you, Frank, to do that. Good of you to do that. Try to get that stolen purse back to that lady. Yeah, that's terrible. No deer, but hey, check this out. We got cows. We got cows out here. Where's Annie? I hear her right behind me. Annie, where are you? Okay, I'm not gonna let her go. Yeah, we got lots of cows. There's a deer path. I haven't seen. Oh no! One time after my live, when we were walking back to the car, Annie was chasing after a deer. It was that one day where Annie was breaking through the ice on the creek, and the deer ran across the creek, and it even got up to its mid belly, breaking through the ice, crossing the creek to get away from Annie. It was so hilarious. I wish I had it on video. It was so cool. Car washes, it can be busy on weekends, I guess. Frank's the best one to answer, but like he said, it's best when the roads are dry after it's rained or snowed. So even during the week, it can get really busy. If we just had a snow a couple days prior and salt, and then everything dried up, and they got the roads all cleared off and dry, those are the busiest days that I've seen. All right. Okay, I'm going to get started. Because I got to get to church myself. All right, guys. Let's look at the sunrise. Today, we're going to talk about becoming holy. And we're going to be in everybody's favorite book, Leviticus, chapter 22, verses 1 through 9. Okay? Becoming holy. Leviticus chapter 22, verses 1 through 9, and the key verse is verse 9. I am the Lord who makes them holy. I am the Lord who makes them holy. Okay? Now, oh, there she is. Annie. Oh, you guys remember grade school? and maybe even middle school or high school, you have to take art class, right? I always had to take art class. I don't know if kids these days have to do that or not in high school, but, take an art class. And it's kind of funny because every time I came home with the project and my brothers, my mom would save them. She would save, maybe they would be out for a little bit, and then she would save them. And each one of us would have a box, and she would just throw it in a box like we would want to look at them later on. So we go and look through the boxes, and it's kind of embarrassing, the kind of work that we did, right? It's not going to be in a museum anytime soon. Actually, probably my favorite museum that I've ever been to is the Art Institute of Chicago. And there's this one room, and I forgot whose collection it is. It's a woman. Her name is Helen. I forgot her last name. Helen, I think it begins with a B. Anyway, she's got a Picasso, blue guitarist in there. Van Gogh's the bedroom. I think there's some Monets in there. Anyway, it's a small room with this awesome collection. And it's like, my artwork is never going to be in a room like that, right? Living up to such a high standard. But in Leviticus, the Israeli priests had to live up to a high standard as they tried to follow God's commands to be ceremonially clean. And that's in the first 8 verses of chapter 22, plus all those instructions regarding the sacrifices, which are in verses 10 through 33. And the priest's work was supposed to be holy or set apart. But obviously, as you know, stories in the Bible, despite their best efforts, they often fell short of what their duties are. And that's why God ultimately placed the responsibility for their righteousness or holiness on his own shoulders. That's why he said, I am the Lord who makes them holy, them being the priests. And he told Moses this not just in verse 9, but in verse 16 and verse 32. So you think he's trying to tell us something? I am the Lord who makes them holy. And just like those priests, during the time of Aaron and Moses, Jesus, the perfect high priest, right, did for us what we cannot do for ourselves. He gave up the perfect, acceptable sacrifice for sin through his death on the cross. He even says, and this comes from John, chapter 17, verse 19, I give myself as a holy sacrifice for my disciples so they can be made holy by your truth. There's some noise behind me. I don't know what's going on. But the bottom line is here, listen. When it feels like our attempts at right living are just amateur drawings, like my amateur grade school drawings, right? We can rest in the perfect work that Jesus did on the cross and rely on his Holy Spirit's power and live for him. So, 2 questions. 2 questions. One is, where's your lack of holiness most frustrating to you? Where is your lack of holiness most frustrating to you? And how has Jesus fulfilled that requirement for perfection? How has Jesus fulfilled that requirement for perfection? So that's all. We should always try to live right. But bottom line is, Jesus did the work for us, and we just need to try to be more and more like him every day, and we will finally be made perfect in him when we go to heaven. So that's today's message. I don't know what this, whatever. He's got a phrase for a name, what he's trying to say. But that's today's message, becoming holy in Leviticus, everyone's favorite book of the Bible, with all those rules and regulations. But just remember what God said 3 times in chapter 22 of Leviticus. I am the Lord who makes them holy. And Jesus is the one who makes us holy. Yeah, it's a nice sunrise. That's why I get on a little early, because the sunrise is earlier, but I'm not moving my time up because we got a time change next week. And the cows going. Look at Annie, just flying around this morning. A lot of energy to burn, huh, Annie? Do you see the cows? You can't get to them. You can't get to them. I'd be afraid to pick up Annie and throw her over this fence, because then she could get through the next fence. And I would just I would actually kind of like to see her running at the cows. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head off to church. I hope you do too. I think it's just good for all of us. It helps us, not just spiritually. I think it helps us mentally. That's why I like talking about the Bible here in the morning. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. And there's Annie back there, if you can see her somewhere. She's back there, I know it. Annie and I are signing off. Have a beautiful day, all right? Get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather, hopefully wherever you are. Enjoy your Sunday, and I'll be on tonight. I'll be back on tonight at 8 p.m. going through our final look through the covers. We just have a few more album covers to look through, and then we'll go back to vinyls, all right? Peace, everybody.